Welcome to the Majestic Words Podcast. I am Reneyywaters.
And I'm Giovanna.
And we are here to talk to you.
Ooh, that sounded good.
Can we talk
about comparison? Ooh, let's talk about comparison. Let's get into it. Comparison. Oh my gosh, social media. So listen.
She's a lot.
I realized that you cannot compare yourself to people. Why? Because a lot of people will show you one thing, and in reality, you don't know what they did to get there. They could have a sugar daddy. They could be no shade. Like how you get your money is how you get your money. But like you might still be living with your parents. You might be working 5 or 10 jobs, and I just don't know, right? So like, let's say you have like this huge mansion, 10 cars, and everything you can ever imagine, and I'm looking on social media like, oh, I want that too, and I'm trying to obtain that. And don't know that you're a drug pen, So you don't know what somebody's doing behind closed doors to obtain what they want or what they have, and then you're comparing yourself trying to fit in their shoes, and you don't know it's on drugs.
Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to comparison, listen, we compare ourselves a lot to influencers on social media. Believe it or not, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, like I think that it's kind of common. We all know this. Like we compare ourselves to like Instagram models and things like that, things of that nature, and it's. I feel like it's just people. 14-year-olds are getting BBLs, y'all.
Talking about that, 14-year-olds don't have anybody that look like them.
BBLs.
That look like them to look up to. They're looking up to grown women now.
Yeah, and it's important. And it brings you back to like community stuff, like putting stuff out there in the community, because you don't have a lot of young people that look up to adults or who don't even have parents at that, and just the influencers, and they're just taking us out of this world. We need to come up with an inclusion.
But the thing is also, I was talking to somebody who was a counselor, and they were talking about how one of their clients was telling them how they were influenced by a whole different country. Mm-hmm. And the thing was, it's like, how can you be influenced by a whole different country and you don't even live there?
Yeah.
You're influenced by Americans and you live in, let's say, South America, and you don't even have the same type of lifestyle Americans do. Now you're trying to obtain that lifestyle based on what you see in social media. So now we're comparing ourselves to people all around the world, not just our local, in our local vicinity, not just in our schools, but people who live in California.
Yeah.
And obviously you live in certain areas of a state, you probably have a higher tax bracket.
Yeah.
So it's just like little things like that. So I think everything honestly goes back to being secure in who you are.
Yeah.
That's like the wholesome answer to everything.
Yeah.
Because I know people who their jobs give them cars, right? So then they have a Mercedes. And you're trying to get a Mercedes. She got a Mercedes, but you're trying to get a Mercedes, and you're trying to be like her. And this doesn't happen, but like I know people like who are like doctors in the medical field. They give them their cars and they drive around a Benz, and you're trying to get a Benz, and the whole time they're not even paying that car note. Their job is paying it. So you're comparing yourself to them, and they're not even paying a car note.
Yeah, it's just like comparison.
It's dangerous.
It is dangerous. It's just, I'm trying to find a good reason. Like,
is there a good reason? That's the question.
It's no good reason in being compared, because it's like, at the same time, like, it is okay to compare yourself because it allows you to grow as well. Like, how you going to grow if you don't, pick out?
Is there a thin line between inspiration and admiration and comparison?
There is.
So what's the difference?
I feel like inspiration is somebody that you look up to, and their morals and the things that they do and look up to inspires you to look up towards the same thing. Like taking the same path, but knowing that you have two different paths. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like comparison is like me comparing myself to you and making sure that I don't like comparisons, like me comparing myself to you, but not making the same, like making sure that I don't make the same decisions as you, or we make the same decisions, but in actuality, like our spirit and stuff like that feel like it's not
matching.
It's not the same. Like we know we're not the same, but somebody could come in here and be like, oh, I'm gonna compare you guys because you're black. Yeah, pretty much.
And women.
If that makes sense. I know I'm all over the place, but
yeah, that makes sense.
A little bit.
Yeah.
When she makes that face, she's like, okay, you're rambling on just a little bit too much. What's going on? Yeah.
I'm trying to process everything. You know?
Yeah. She's more so I'm going to break it down, make it happen, and I'm just a rambler.
No, my
she
girl,
puts my thoughts together.
I can't put that way. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
this is why we're compatible.
So you can't compare us.
You can't. You really can't. But I trust Giovanna to always put my words together. I don't know why.
And I trust her to put mine together.
Yeah.
Yeah, but comparison is crazy. And is comparison inevitable though?
It's a little bit inevitable.
I feel like we always we subconsciously compare ourselves in every way. We compare our future selves to our old selves, right? Like, aren't we comparing our past to our future? Or is that something different?
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the face I made. But go ahead, where's the question?
We're comparing our older selves to our younger selves. Like, oh, now I'm different.
I feel like you have to.
But so that's okay.
You have to compare yourself to, yeah. You don't feel like you have to compare yourself to your younger self? I feel like if you still acting like your younger self and you still have the same traits as your younger self, you ain't growing.
So there is an exception then.
It's an exception. You decline.
No,
she like that.
But you know what I'm thinking about?
What?
Why does the word compare exist? Like, is there good intentions behind the word, or is it just negative? Like mean. It's just negative.
I feel like people make it negative. I can't even speak on it because I don't even know like how comparison even like has been brought up in a sense, or like the history behind comparison, the word. But I don't know. Comparison might be really a good thing. You agree?
Listen, it's over my head at this point. It's over my head.
What?
Comparison.
I don't know.
Because it's just like there's so many ins and outs to it. The only thing I can like think about right now that makes sense is comparing my now to my past. I'm like, okay, you evolved or you didn't evolve. Evolve.
So let's put it in the aspect of saying comparison is good for yourself versus it be somebody else putting it on you.
Right. Yeah.
So comparison is good for you physically, mentally, and emotionally, but comparison is bad based on another person's opinion.
What about this? Do you believe that as children we're taught to compare by what we see around us, by our parents, by what they say, by what our siblings say? Because if you think about it, dang, I lost my train of thought. But it's something like if we're growing, right? We don't know anything. So if we're comparing ourselves, we have to be taught to compare. We won't just grow up comparing ourselves, right? As a baby.
Yeah.
So I think comparison is taught. Be like your sister. Be like your brother. Like little stuff
comparison
like that
is taught. I mean, I've been in a scenario where I was compared to, another family member.
Right now.
But I felt like
most often.
I'm nothing like that. But somebody, like, I don't know. And I feel like it drove me nuts. And I don't know if it drove me nuts because I felt like it was true, but it just, I was like, no, it's going to be a no.
But what do y'all think?
Yeah.
Let us know what y'all think.
This is what we're here for. We're here to talk about not only what we think, but what y'all think. And we can go back, research it, talk about it and bring it to you and, eventually come up with some type of conclusion.
Yes, let's talk about that.
So we're here to talk about it.